from all the women that go in the U.S. military, a lot of women are going in, right? 1/3 of the women are raped in the military, not by the enemy, but by men in the U.S. military. We have statistics to show this. It is very dangerous for women to be in a war zone right now, in Iraq or Afghanistan.
And not just the war zone, anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a statistic for anywhere.
That's true.
Just being in the military is a dangerous place for women. It's a dangerous place for men, too. You think 1 in 3 women raped in the military is a creepy number. You know, it's not that different for men. 1 in 5 men in the military are raped by another man in the military. It's a crazy situation. It's horrible. Like we were talking about torture earlier. The military is torture. The military tortures the people in the military because, they're asking people in the military to torture other people. So they figure if we torture you and we make you think it's okay, when we ask you to torture somebody else, you'll think it's okay. And torture is never okay. And it is torture, physically, emotionally, sexually. What good is money for college if you come out the other side wanting to kill yourself? It's like, it's very damaging, the whole experience.
Have you ever think about it, suicide?
Have I ever thought about suicide? Yeah, I definitely have thought about suicide. In fact, even still, my number one fear, my biggest fear is that someday I will kill myself. That I will be too sad to go on, and that I will kill myself. And in a way, it's a powerful thing because I'm not afraid of other people killing me. But it's a horribly sad situation for a human being to think that I may not always be okay. Some days I wake up, I'm not okay.
It's not just Matthis. The rate of suicide of people coming out of the war and the U.S. military right now is the highest it's ever been. And this is because the war itself is wrong. And it's very hard for people to participate. Seeing what they've seen and being ordered to do what they've been ordered to do. It's not that the people are crazy. It's that the situation is crazy, I think.
Lethal.
Lethal. It's lethal. Is that the word you said?
You said me too.
Yeah, you agree. Lethal means dangerous. It's so dangerous you could die.
Yeah, it's pretty dangerous.
What was the worst thing you see in the war? You don't want to say.
In the war or in the military?
Both.
Well, in Afghanistan, I would say that maybe the children, seeing the lives that the children were living was very hard.
Why?
Well, because something inside of me says that it's not right, that I should live so well while children live in sewage. And when I was in Afghanistan, for example, it's very hard for U.S. soldiers, but compared to the people of Afghanistan, U.S. soldiers live very well. It's pretty sick, actually, to experience being on a military base in Afghanistan, eating Burger King, and seeing filthy children outside of the base begging for water. That was hard. pointing my weapon at children, at the children was hard. And I didn't shoot anybody in Afghanistan, but just driving, when I was in convoys, driving by, holding your weapon, at the ready, you can't help but point your weapon at children. You just drive by. There's children on the street, some of them giving you a thumbs up, some of them throwing rocks, but you're just driving by. And it's very difficult for me to think back and think what it's like that there's many children in Afghanistan who remember me pointing a gun at them, and whether I was going to shoot them or not, they still remember Matthis pointing a gun at them. And that at the time wasn't hard, but looking back, that's one of the things that I really am troubled by.
Have you ever had to kill somebody?
I never pulled the trigger when I was in the military. That said, I'm definitely complicit in not only a large number of deaths, people dying, but also a number of deaths that people never found out about. See, like my job in the military was I was a propaganda artist.
What does that mean?
How do I describe propaganda? Well, I was a journalist, right? But I was a soldier journalist. So I was writing stories about the military, but from the perspective of the military. Yeah, I reported things only that the military wanted people to know, that made the military look good. For example, my stories were every time very positive about the military, very positive about the war, very positive about soldiers. And sometimes people like you would read them and think it was a journalist, would not know that it was a soldier, and that, I wasn't writing the truth. And so I never squeezed the trigger, but even in the same sense, every person in this country is responsible and complicit in this violence. One of the things that's so crazy about the U.S. is it's like you can't do anything here without hurting somebody somewhere. You can't drive a car, you can't shop at a cheap clothing store, without supporting little children in countries that some of you might have even come from, that suffer so that we can be the greatest country on the planet. It's crazy to me, that's why it's so important that not just me be a war resistor, but that everybody, think that it's a responsibility for everybody to be a war resistor, because this is supposed to be a democracy, right? And if it is, people are responsible, This isn't just George Bush's fault. This isn't just Obama's fault. This isn't just my fault. This is a lot of people have blood on their hands.
Does anybody know Facebook?
Yes.
You can find us on Facebook. We Are Not Your Soldiers. And you can correspond with Matthis and other people and talk about these ideas further, okay? I'm going to pass this out.
So guys, they have to go to Miss Jenny's class.